All right, so I will try to explain to you something very simple, but at the same time, very difficult to understand nowadays. So I need you to open your mind a little bit to understand deep psychology. We are living in a drama right now between masculine and feminine traits. By traits, I mean mind traits. What does that mean? It's different from a common perspective. So we tend to believe that the feminine traits are involved in emotions, which is true partially. And it's the most common analysis that we can do. But the masculine traits are well embedded in in different emotions, but there are emotions. And I'm going to tell you, both are important and cannot be excluded. Otherwise, it creates a lot of chaos and a lot of problems for humanity. I'm not kidding at all. So what I'm saying is, what kind of traits are masculine? Like, for example, we have this left and right dispute nowadays worldwide, but mostly on the Western society. And we can say that it's based on the left sides. Liberals are more involved in feminine traits and the conservatives are more involved in masculine traits. But pay attention, we had this kind of ascension from this feminine perspective that everybody has inside our own minds. But of course, if you're a male, you are predominantly and most commonly female traits. You have female masculine traits, and if you are a female, it's the opposite. But we are well balanced. So, for example, a man has its feminine side, which is not involved necessarily to sex, and it involves certain types of feelings that are necessary for a man to be well balanced and do not be destructive, which is very important for society. So let me give you this example. We have the left and the right. And the right has feelings too. If you're talking about justice, if we're talking about, those are sentiments, those are feelings that we needed we pursue that. On the other hand, we want justice, we want things to be done correctly. And of course, there's the logical aspect, which is very important. And the feminine side is more about compassion, it's about more empathy, it's more about not excluding people, but including people in everything. And it also has its logical reasoning, but it's a little bit more after that feeling, or what I mean to say is the feelings becomes prior to the logical reasoning, which is very important. And you may think that it's bullshit. We don't need that. If you are a conservative, you believe that we don't need that kind of stuff. But let me remember you, because a lot of people doesn't study history or antique books. And we had 2 world wars recently with the nuclear bomb, and we developed that with science and technology, and we pivoted a little bit our minds. So we developed this, as we call this, preemptive effort to think rationally, which was not very common 3 centuries ago. It was a little bit different, the way we thought the world. And of course, we had wars before, but now that was the only time that we had 2 world wars. Everybody was involved. And it is based on a lot of things, but are product of a masculine trait and about rationality, about competition, which is a very important masculine trait, which involves feelings, which involves honor, which involves dying for a cause. for example. And you must not forget that. So it's normal, and everybody as an individual is struggling with these both sides inside themselves. That's what the world is suffering from, and every individual is suffering from it, even you. And the more you try to hide the other side on you, the more you project on others. The more you project the hate, the more you project that the other side is evil and is unnecessary, which is not true. And of course, there are evil people. There are a lot of bad things going on both sides. And I'm not saying that both sides are the same, because we had this left ascension, which unbalanced this right reasoning, and now we are having an upside on this right side, and it will be like it will stay like that for a couple of time. What every individual should pursue is a certain balance. Of course, you can be more logical, or you can be more spontaneous, and you have more feelings from the emotion side, from the empathetic side. But both are important. Listen, if wars are made and people are ready to go to war, they believe they are ready, but they are not, because they don't know what a war is. If you know what war is, you will never want to do that. If you served an army, as I did, you should know that it's really hard. It's not a good thing. It's not a beautiful thing. It's really hard, and it's not good when you see people dying, and when you see you can die, and because of a cause that you are being manipulated, by the way, because you are serving certain powers, certain political powers. You are not just serving a cause as you were a millennia ago. And maybe a millennia ago, you were being manipulated as well. So pay attention. It's not good to go to war. It's not good to have a civil war, like we're saying, listening to people. Of course, you need to do something. So if you have deaths and you have violence, you have to treat that. And of course, this, everybody is pure, everybody needs a second chance, which, by the way, is the New Testament from Jesus Christ, which he gave humanity a very good balance between the logical and reasoning from Judaism and from the Old Testament God, and the new God, the New Testament, from this love and this more feminine traits. Jesus gave us this balance very, very well. And of course, a lot of religions listens more the Old Testament, and other religions will listen more the New Testament, as the Catholic Church. So that's why I asked you to open your mind a little bit, because that annoys us. It gives us a discomfort. Like, I'm right. What are you talking about? Are you a libtard, or are you a conservative? I don't know what they call the conservatives, but listen, you need to be a little bit more balanced. You need to have empathy in the right conditions and understand the other side, so you can change people. For example, if you want to change a leftist, you need to understand that most people think, or they think more feeling before the logical way. So you need to change this, need to appeal to this sentiment side, and then they will conclude. Then you can conclude the logical side. That's a lot of wrong mistakes that I've seen from people trying to convince others logically, which is not true, not even on both sides, because both sides work with this feeling. Both sides are working with this feeling. It's kind of feeling. And people think they are logical more than they are, and most people think they are good, more good, or they're better than they really are. Most leftists already think like this: I'm doing good, but at the other side, they're not seeing that they're acting with violence. And the same side, which is God related, and a lot of times they are trying to validate their inputs on law based on the Old Testament, like they said about the Old Testament, by the way. So This is not a US conflict. This is an European conflict. This is an American, from South American conflict as well. And all this capitalism and socialism and left and right are exploring these kind of feelings, which comes from this mind conflict. Every war, every person that will succeed comes from this before. A war is coming before on our minds. It's ready to go to war, but we created the war in our minds before as a collective, individually. So if you change it, the salvation here in the mind proposition is to change individually, and at a certain point, when you have this break point, everything will change and the movements will occur, but based on this individual mental. That's it. I hope it doesn't get a little bit too confusing, because it's a simple fact, but it's hard to talk to you in an open way, because nobody wants to think about it, or you are left or right, if you're my enemy or you are my ally, and that's it. And that's very bad. It's very terrible. It's not, you are not using your potential, your mental potential, your rationale. You're not using your your rational thinking. If you think like that, you're using your emotions a lot, which are important. Emotions are important, but before that, you need to understand the other side is not bad. It's not bad as you think. Like what they are looking, like the good people, what they are looking for. How do they think? So then you can understand. You can accept something. You don't need to break down everything you have as an ideology, and then you can change them as well. If you guys just distance yourselves from them, it's just you're just willing to go to war, willing to go to violence, to the imprisonment, lawfare, or much worse, which are not good for anyone. But sometimes in history, it's very necessary, and I cannot do anything about it. But I'm making this video so I can talk. Consider subscribing. See you soon.